Why do I have a pickle jar and pantyhose? Anybody want to guess? Clue, it's not pickles. We've got Lava Bison, we've got Ryan, we've got Jennifer, we've got Moi, we've got Chubby Hubby. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope it's a banger too, and in like finally a good way, instead of like, oh, you've got an earache, oh, you've got a toothache, oh, you're gonna get a tooth pulled, oh, and you're gonna have a funeral, and like it's been a banger, but not in a good way lately. So I'm ready for that. You know, they say schist storms don't last forever. Insert the real word instead of the rock word. So I'm ready for those skies to clear, even though our skies just got gray. And snow dumped on us. So anyway, yeah, I'm ready for the other way around, Chubby Hubby. Thank you. So yeah, I want real and fake answers only. Joseph, you're not allowed to answer because you know why. Why do I have a pickle jar with pantyhose going in it? Oh my goodness, really? You're barking at your kid? I really do have a quiet dog for most part. She usually doesn't bark unless she thinks she needs to. Hello, Patricia. Here's another clue. I've got a Daisy cottage cheese container here, not a sponsor. Oh, followed by a medical. Any guesses? I am not fermenting. It's a good guess, though. And what do a bone, a microscope, and a used saw blade have to do with anything? We'll get into that too. Is it Wednesday? Are we here? We have all kinds of questions. And cheers to you, by the way. Look, my cup is cute. Other than it's got my drool mark on it. I don't know if you guys can read it or not, and I kind of holding it stupid, but what day is it today, said Piglet. Ah, said Pooh, my favorite day. It's Wednesday, it's our favorite day. Ryan says, late night of trying to learn lyrics. Pantyhose happens. For sure, right? We did actually finally get that song from start to finish, and we weren't done playing around until 2 o'clock in the morning. We had a lot of fun. Those boys actually are really super talented when it comes to like writing songs, and we actually got super goofy, super rummy there at the end of the night, as if we weren't rummy enough already, and just started doing some ad-lib stuff, some, you know, on the fly, make the lyrics up as you go kind of, and it was like super bluesy. And so, oh boy, we got all the Prairie boys hanging out in the middle, start of the live. So Cole's friend would be like, maybe I will. And I'd be like, maybe he will. And he'd be like, maybe I won't. And we talked about it later. Like, that's the most indecisive song anyone's ever sang. I will, I won't, maybe. It was fun though. But yeah, those guys are actually really talented when it comes to writing songs and playing with words and, you know, lyrics and things like that. So when we shut the cameras off and we, you know, just started playing and having fun. Well, it was all playing and having fun really, but it got interesting. We were writing songs and it was interesting. So yeah, we have pantyhose.
Love you, Mom.
Love you, baby. Where are you headed now? Okay. Pantyhose in a pickle jar. We got some pantyhose in a pickle jar. You want to tell them what's in there?
Rubies?
Rubies are not in there.
What's in there?
You know better.
Rodongo?
There you go. Dun dun da 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 dun 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 da 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 dun 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 da 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 dun 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 da 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 dun dun. Dura dura dongo, dura dongo. Exactly, my boy. So, I'm working on a new Duradonga ball. I think I'm gonna rub some silver glitter into some of those little holes. I think it's in there, but it just, maybe I'll rub some of the black in there. Yeah. So me and Lava Bison were working on these the other day. Working on a new set of Duradonga balls. Hey Al, how's it going? And we're playing with all of the mica pigments and trying different things. There's no right or wrong way how to make a Duradonga ball, and I don't have, believe it or not, don't have a mason jar. Well, I have this, but yeah, we'll just pretend with this. So there's lots of different techniques and yeah, we'll talk about it, Patricia. Lots of different ways and techniques to make a Duradonga ball. And so basically Duradonga is the ancient Japanese art of molding dirt and water, earth and water, into a ball and then polishing it to a mere finish. So we've always just done it by hand. We've always used the kind of this soft part of your hand to polish as you go, to polish along the ball, and you just roll it around in your hand and you polish and you polish and you polish and you polish. Sometimes we'll use a cloth, silk or polyester, or, you know, trying different things, microfiber, trying different cloths to hand polish these balls. When you get this far, you have to slowly let them dry. If you let them dry too fast, it cracks. So the reason for the pantyhose in the jar is to keep it from drying out too fast, and because we don't want to hard spot them, we don't want to lay them on something hard, they will get a flat spot. So we're suspending them in the jar, in the pantyhose, so that it's hanging nicely and drying slowly. So again, no right or wrong way to do this, and we're playing with some different techniques of taking like a glass jar, a ball cradle, exactly, pantyhose in a pickle jar, aka a ball cradle. You could take a glass jar and kind of move it around on the edge of these to get a nice like mirror shine, or you can get this like hand texture. You never know what you're really gonna get. You know, I've got kind of this pitted texture, kind of snake skin texture. Yeah, a ball hammock. Welcome, soul. Out of mine. And I used like a silver mica powder and a black mica powder, and they just so happened to kind of turn out like that in the end. Well, mostly the end. I've definitely got some polishing still to do, and this is still just a slight bit damp. So just a little bit more handwork, polishing it, and the more it warms up in your hand, the more it sweats out the moisture from the inside. So as you go, you know, it's getting drier and drier, and you're gonna get a nicer and nicer polish as you go. So anyway, it's a little ball hammock. It's a little ball home, so that he doesn't dry out too fast and crack. And the other one is just a smidge bit behind the other one. It dried out a little slower, and we had to go slower because it was cracking as it was going along. So every time your ball starts to crack, it's time to stop working it and put it back. In the very beginning stages, when it's really, really wet, I'm going to go make some wood projects. Right on, Al. You want to put it into a grocery sack, because the grocery sack really keeps the moisture in, or a veg sack or whatever. But as you get a little farther out and a little farther out, then you're not really trying to keep your ball wet. You're trying to get it to dry, but you're trying to get it to do so in a consistent and even and controlled way. So you can see this one's still pretty dull. I mean, it's got some luster because of that mica powder. And you can see even as I rub it with my finger, it starts to polish up just a little bit. And the reason why this one is dull still is because we haven't got to the polish at all. And what are they for? Aesthetically pleasing. They're for what's the word? Feng shui is what they are for. Yeah, it's still dull because we haven't started to polish. This is Joseph's ball. As soon as he started putting some of the pigment and color on his, it started to crack. So back in the container it goes. Again, if we go too fast, if we dry the ball too fast, it'll crack. And we don't want it cracked. We want a nice whole sphere. And so now that it's drying better, we'll come back there. It's zen, it's relaxing. Exactly, Patricia. Now we'll start to polish this with a cloth or with our hand or whatever option we choose to go with. But I'm gonna set him right back in there and let him go right back down in his happy little hole. So yeah, working on a few of those, and you know, winter's approaching, so we've gathered up a lot of dirt and stuff. Literally, it's just dirt. We get dirt out of a gopher hole, or out of, you know, if we go somewhere special, like Continental Divide, stop and grab a little bucket of dirt off the side of the road. You know, we only need a handful to make a Duradonga ball. And then you've got, you know, a piece of art that includes maybe your favorite place, maybe your hometown, and you can't go there but like maybe once a year or once every 6 years or something. Grab a little handful of dirt, make a little Duradonga ball with your hometown. So anyway, those are just, yeah, it's fun, and look into it. I've done some videos on how I make mine in the past. One, I think, maybe just one, and it's hard to not say things that sound bad, like put your ball in the sack and hang it and things like that, you know. Rub it with your hand till it's polished. You know, it sounds terrible, but oh well, we love it. Karen's here. Hello, Karen. So, now that we've discovered what pantyhose in a pickle jar is all about, as Karen's walking in going, what? Now that we've discovered what that's all about, let's talk about what do a bone, a microscope, and a used saw blade all have in common. You can have those. Absolutely. My tooth says no way, Jose, right now. Oh. It's a ball cradle, Karen. I'm making a Duradonga ball. And there's a Duradonga ball in there. It just keeps him suspended and controls his dry rate. Okay, so but moving on. So the first two things, the bone and the microscope, are gifts that have recently been sent to the PrairieGirlRocks YouTube channel. And the third, a used saw blade, we'll get into that in just a second, has a story. I'm so excited. So this handsome little chunk of dino bone came from Roger. Some of you guys have seen and met Roger in my chat. And he lives just the next town over. So we did a sale, which, by the way, I still have a package for you, Karen, and I'm just not done with it yet is all. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm just not finished with it, but it is my mission and goal. Don't hold me to it, please. It is my mission and goal to finish that package today, but it's coming soon, I hope. So anyway, we did the sale, and I just dropped off his package at my brother manages the CarQuest over there, and so he just kept the package at CarQuest, and then Roger went and picked it up, and then Roger dropped this bone off for us and kind of did a little tradesy maroo. Let's get you guys turned around so we can get into it. Yes, I am as well, Karen, especially when you know it's worth the wait. And you know the person, and it's like, oh, I know where you are. No, you're not going anywhere. Okay, so let's wet it again so we can see all of its full glory. Full full of glory. You know, I haven't tried yet. Did I bring the big Larry over here? I think I was like, you know what, if I need the flashlight, I should put the flashlight over here. But did I follow through with that after I thought it? Nope, I left it on the coffee table. I haven't tried the back like that, and I wonder, a couple of those cells look kind of translucent. Well, they don't look translucent, but they look agate-y. So let's see what happens. I mean, it's a chunk. It's thick, but I kind of wonder about one or two of those cells. I'm sure this is a pipe dream, but yeah, for sure no. And then my light goes wild, does all kinds of flashy things. I also haven't tried UVing this yet. Again, do I have a UV light? Heck no. Come on. Come on. It's not my first day, you guys, I swear. Pantyhose in a pickle jar. Shh. It must be my first day. Oh, it's barely got a charge. Oh, come on. Quit looking at my hand. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Oof, duh. She's a stunner. She's a glower and a shower. And let's flip it. Oh. Rufo's here. Yes, for sure, Rufo. I agree. I love all the yellows in there and the oranges, all the way into some reds over here. Into some blues and clear, you know, pink. Oh, there's pink, there's white. There's a pink one and a green one and a blue one and a yellow one. And they all are very pretty, and they all are everywhere. Nice thick chunk too. We can even see the cells on the side, folks. Exactly, Ryan. He says there's a whole song in one slab. I do too, Al. I've got a thing for orbicular things, and so like dino bone and meteorites can sometimes look a little bit similar, and I you know, can't put my finger on exactly what it is that I like about that pattern or that texture, but there's definitely something about it that gets me going enough that you know, I'm like, I can't get enough of it. Why'd my fire go out, guys? Excuse me just a moment. I gotta poke my fire. There we go. Sorry about that. It's a bit chilly here in Montana, so I need to poke the fire. Chester cheetah? I saw some kind of an amoeba in there. Soul. While I've got you guys turned around here, and before I tell you about a microscope and a used saw blade, let's jump around just a little bit and talk about what's been shaking. So I don't know, what is this? Some kind of a milk agate or something? The point of the story, though, is that this whole entire bottom piece right here was covered in the crust and the crud. And look at all the little bots in there and the druzy that the shaker was able to uncrudify and show us. So sparkly. Love it. Love, love, love it. Mm-hmm. So pretty. So there's that one. This piece, when I found it out in the field, I kind of knew that it was pretty and I kind of knew that it was special, right? But I just assumed that it was pretty much chock full of little fossils and that was kind of the end of it. Sorry, I get a right about here is where my tripod holds my phone. So I don't see very much of this side of the phone or of the screen. So I kind of shoot for kind of what I can see over here, but that's okay because if you're on your phone chatting, usually the chat is over here anyway and would cover up the rock. But yeah, I don't see so good like right here in the middle. But this piece, if you look really close in all of these little tiny little pock holes, it's full of the little druzy. And it was super duper covered in the scuzz. Actually, I could see like a line across here that I should try to scrub off with the toothbrush from when it was in the shaker. But all of this back here was covered in the field scuzz. Oh my gosh. It ain't easy being fossil cheesy. And I am not seeing how all of the little sparkle in here. You can see there was a little crinoid or something hanging out in there. Also in there, you see how absolutely sparkly it is? Like teeny tiny druzy in there. But yeah, the shaker, and we're getting wet from the thing is still just a bit damp. The shaker did a really good job. Like I say, there's sparkles in every little tiny hole in there. But yeah, I couldn't see any of that fun stuff. Look at, there's that druzy showing down there. Couldn't see any of that fun stuff because it had scuzz on it. Exactly. Field scuzz. And then one more. When I found it, it was kind of this way up. And the entire bottom of this thing was covered in scuzz. And now we can see how absolutely beautiful it is. Look at all the druzy. Couldn't see any of that before it went through the shaker. See it down here. See it up here. See it down there. So much sparkly druzy. What is this rock even? I don't even know what this is. Is it a quartzite? Sparkles all over here. Just everywhere. I had no idea that this rock was going to be so pretty. This whole thing here is full of druzy. Jennifer, did I say hi to you? He just sneaking in there. And Jane V. Rock Counting's here. Hi, Jeff. And Les. Did I say hi to Les? might be just a little weird today. They've got me putting Flonase up my nose. They got me taking Benadryl. I've been eating Tylenols and ibuprofens. So I honestly, I'm surprised that I even can keep track right now what day of the week it is. But I can definitely look down and gaze down in there and know that that satisfies something inside of me. Good golly, so pretty. But yeah, I had no idea. Check out all that druzy. No idea how much pretty stuff was hiding underneath the scuzz until I give her a good old shake. So yeah, definitely. The shake thing has been fun, and I've been shaking the shoot out of everything. We'll turn you back around. We'll put you back in the other thing. We'll swing that out of the way. Yeah, it wasn't expensive. And I think I've definitely got my use out of it already. So if it took probably we could do that again. I definitely got my $13 worth of kicks out of it, or 15 or 18 or whatever it is. Excuse me. It just kind of sits there and shimmies. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't tumble them around, no. Ick. Soul. Get all the rocks out of the laundry room. I did not use a whole gallon. I still have some left. But I've been taking it a little easier lately because I'm almost out. And I mean, that's stuff I can get at the grocery store. But yeah, the rock community has had a religious conversation. We're all shakers now. But excuse me. Oh my goodness, I love it. Cheers to that. Okay, so the last riddle of today that we got to solve. We've talked about a bone. Now we have a microscope and a used saw blade. What could they possibly have in common? What are we up to? What are we up to out here on the prairie? I actually wonder, where's the old phone? There it is. Has it got any charge, and can I show you a short video? It doesn't, but we could charge it up real quick and you guys could see. Okay, so what in the world do a microscope and a used saw blade have in common? They actually do go together today. The bone, kind of separate. Like I say, it was a gift sent to PrairieGirlRocks, and so is the microscope. And I'll tell you how that gets tied into a used saw blade as we get into this story just a little bit. So, you guys know my other thing on Wednesdays is to do my meteorite group on Wednesday night. And that's just as cool a little community as this is. I'm not joking, guys. It's a great little community. And I've been at that for a little longer even than I've been making my own videos. So I've got to know some of those characters over there. And Pat, Professor Pat, sent me, there it is, okay, sent me some new saw blades and a microscope. And we had a lot of fun opening that package. I actually let Prairie Kid open that package. And he got right into putting it together. which was super awesome. I was quite impressed. I mean, he had his moments where he was kind of looking at here's your guys' kind of package opening here. There's Caden getting into this box. There he is, opening up some of the pink bubble wrap. Hey, Josh. Here he is looking at some of the microscope parts, figuring out what to do with it, where it goes. And let's see, let's go back. Is that all of them? Yes, it is. So it arrived in the mail, which that was, that was super important. And like I say, Prairie Kid got everything all put together. So and Pat had talked to me about this before he sent it. He said, the only thing wrong with this microscope is that it has no deck, no bottom deck. So there's a mounting bracket and the microscope is there, and it, you can turn it up and down and bring it up and down closer to your thing, but there is just no platform. All of the rest of it's there. He even sent a cell phone clamp so that we can look down it together, and a ring light so that I can make it do magic. So and we'll talk about that in just a second too. So he said, it's just missing this mounting deck. Would that be something you'd be interested in trying to use? Or, would you be interested in trying to fabricate the mounting deck for that? And would you enjoy using that if you were able to do that? And I said, yeah. I mean, we're a crafty bunch around here, we could probably build something. Cheers. So he sent it. And like I say, the kid put it together, and we were looking at it, and we're like, yep, it's all there, and everything works great. Looks like it's going to work great, but we just need the platform. So we talked about some things. We could even just stick it in the vise and just put it on the corner of the table and use it like that. I mean, we could, but what could we do? And then Joseph says, do you have any used saw blades? And I was like, I got tons of used saw blades. I even gave a few of my used saw blades to somebody who wanted to paint saw blades. Like, here, you can have them, because I buy the cheap jingling blades for my little saw. And so they wear out, and I neglect them and treat them badly. And then, but I get my like $1.50s worth out of them, right? To get like 6 of them for $7 or, something really ridiculously cheap. But the blade that came on older saw was kind of a majestic blade, and I'd probably even still be using it. It was a darn nice blade, but I learned a valuable and important lesson one evening when I put a rock in the saw and didn't have it good enough in the vise, and it moved in the vise, and the blade hung up on the rock, and it bent the edge of the blade just a little bit, kind of took a little bite out of the edge of the blade. So I had to retire that blade, even though it was nice, and I was pretty convinced when I started that I was going to get many more miles out of it. I failed to do so because I learned a lesson. So, but I kept the blade. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I don't know why not either, but I think maybe just in case I ever had to try to bang that out of there and try, I could. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody wants to paint it, whatever. Yeah, that'll learn me. Yeah, for sure. So I kept the blade, and Joseph, like I say, he said, do you got any old saw blades? He's like, wouldn't it be kind of cool, kind of a rock hounder touch if you made your platform out of an old saw blade? And I was like, ooh, I like that idea. So, ready or not, here comes your update, guys. I am so freaking excited about this.
we go, here we go. Here we go now.
Check that out. Oh, ring light.
It's a badass. Still need to find our polarized
Beep
lens.
for the magic. Should I tell you all my secrets? So yeah, there it is, mounted up onto a old used saw blade platform. Yeah, I do have mine in the living room. It's kind of, who does that? Resourcefulness, exactly. Oh, did Cheryl get a saw what's going on? Figuring out work on the road at the moment. Ryan, my cart came in today. I should be able to set the saw up on it. My easy peasy, right? But should I leave it in the garage or set it up in the laundry room? Oil or water, Cheryl? Yeah, I'll learn that. Okay, oil. Really? How big is your saw, Cheryl? Personally, I would leave that in the garage. Yeah, even, and is it enclosed? I mean, those are questions I have. Montana resourcefulness. Cool. Recycle. I love it too, right, Patricia? Yeah, Rufo, I'm excited to get to use it. Yeah, we got to see that just one more time just for funsies. I mean, how creative, how stinking cool is that, you guys? That is a microscope mounted on a saw blade. Oh, shoot. Oh, and then I want to give it a name because we have some names. It's a 10-inch Covington, not enclosed. But I can buy that and add on to make it self-feeding. Interesting. Interesting, soul. So I've never ran an oil saw not covered. I can't imagine how messy it might be. I know that running just my little 6-inch saw with water open, by hand, unenclosed, it's pretty messy. It gets pretty far up your arms. It gets all over the front of you. You'll want to get one of those plastic aprons if you can, soul, and definitely cover your eyes and your mouth. But yeah, I've never ran an oil saw uncovered. I can't imagine what that's all about, how that's like. Try it in your laundry room, because if it's out in the garage and you never ever use it, that's no good, right? So if you can, if you can even just rig up a piece of plastic behind and underneath of it to catch a lot of your mess, or put some kind of Tupperware over it and cut a hole in the front of it for your arms to go through so that the back and the sides are closed somehow. If you can do anything, because it won't freeze, it's oil. But if I'm worried about you freezing, because if you're freezing, you won't use it. And we want you to use and enjoy it. So, if worst comes to worst and you put it in the house and it's an absolute catastrophe to use, then you know better. Then you got to put it outside, right? Or vice versa. If it's outside and you're like, hey, it's really not that bad, maybe I could set something up inside. But if it's miserable to use, you won't use it. You're not going to bundle up and then what are you going to do? Put kitchen, dish gloves on over your long sleeves to keep the oil off your clothes? So you want to, maybe even be down to a t-shirt and a plastic apron when you're cutting, because it's terribly messy and ruins your clothes. So there's lots of different things to take into consideration about why and where you should put it. Mine's not outside because I knew if it was, I wouldn't use it. I knew it is sure darn be nice to have it out there in the summer, because I could just let stuff rip, right? And I wouldn't have to worry about containing the mess or evacuating all of the fumes and things before I open it. I could just let stuff rip if it was outside. But come wintertime, mm-mm, mm-mm. Even if I really was motivated, I don't think I'd go even out to the garage and do it. My garage isn't nice though. It's open to the elements. It's cold. It's dark. Even if you turn the light on out there, it's just, you know. Roger says, don't even do an uncovered saw indoors. I definitely agree with that. Like I say, I would try to rig up, if I was going to try it, I would try to rig up some kind of a Rubbermaid or Tupperware with even just a hole in the front. You could drape a piece of plastic or something over the front of it to kind of close things off, but all of it's not advised. Not advised. But again, sometimes you do what you got to do to, because you won't use it if you don't. I mean, again, not advised to have one in your living room, but I've also ran my 6-inch on my kitchen counter and you know, sacrificed having room and things for food and dishes, because it's got to be somewhere where I'm going to be able to access it easily and use it. So sometimes, you know, yeah, and where it lands is where it is now slick and where it sticks. And then, yeah, and maybe just to try that out, Soul. The only thing about running water in it is that when you're done, you don't want to leave water in it because it will rust your blade and the whatever, the shaft and the nut and everything else that holds everything together. So that is a hassle about water, is you can't walk away from it when you're done. You got to clean it out. So again, pros, cons, ups, downs, things you have to consider. Trial and error. I move my equipment all over the place. Like when I'm not using it, it's kind of, you know, cut in a place. And when I am using it, it's right in the dang way. So yeah, a rolly cart is definitely a good idea for easy moving and stuff like that, for sure. So definitely lots of different things to consider, for sure. And what kind of sacrifices and things are you willing to make? You know, are you willing to just trash one corner of your laundry room so that you can, you know, got water dripping down the wall? And I might be willing to do that. I also know who cleans this house. So any mess made, I know who's responsible for cleaning it. But yeah, about time, Soul. Welcome to the dark side. I love that. Love that. And Roger, thank you so much for the bone. Definitely keep checking in, because you just never know. I might have a surprise package down at the old parts store there in the corner of Cut Bank for you again someday soon. Yep, water is definitely messy too. And again, nice in the summer. Woohoo! Take my little saw out and just sit in the yard in the grass and just let it rip tater chip, and it's kind of a nice little mist. Feels good, but yeah, also when I run that in the house in the winter, it's like put a towel under it, because pretty soon there's enough water running off the back of it that it's going to be sitting in a puddle if you don't. So lots of things. You just try and you figure out ways around it. And there's probably really no right or wrong way to address a lot of those issues, you know. Yeah, you just do what works for you. Yeah, make those cuts, Soul. I agree. Yeah, it's crazy, like maddening when you get a brand new saw and you're like, okay, but now like I have to be for real about like setup and things like that. And okay, I want to run it, but I don't have the oil, and the oil's in the mail, and I want to run it, but you know, so okay, Roger. Deal. Oh, Soul, I don't advise that either because well, if you're running water, maybe, but yeah, if you're running oil, don't do that. That's, unless you're wearing a Rufo respirator. Again, you're gonna decide what kind of risks and reward you're willing to deal with. You're gonna decide, like I say, the housekeeper, who's doing the cleanup, so you're gonna know what you're gonna want to tolerate. I've done some stuff and I've been like, whoo, won't do that again. And I've done some other stuff that I'm like, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So yeah, try it. Try some stuff. I mean, yeah, kind of like making Duradonga balls. We got to just try some stuff. In fact, I didn't get brave enough to on this one. Again, why do we have a pickle jar with pantyhose? Because it's a ball hammock. Bama's in the house. And welcome, Roger, by the way, who just like snuck in there with like, don't do it. Soul, stop. Don't put an oil saw in your house, an open oil saw in your house. Do not recommend. 0 stars. Do not recommend. Oh. And yeah, hey Al, Alabama, how's it going? So yeah, again, there's no right or wrong way to make a Duradonga ball either. You got to just try some things and decide what you like best, what worked best for you. I love these, by the way. They're so cool. I mean, like I say, what's the point? It's really the point is feng shui, like zenfulness, I guess. Or like I say, nostalgia, if you've got dirt from a place that you love or whatever. Again, it's just hanging out in there, drying at a controlled rate. That one's ready for some polish work. It'd be a nice thing to kind of keep my hands busy while I'm at the meteorite meeting tonight. Just be polishing away. Yeah, live and learn, for sure. And maybe, Soul, you'll be telling us all about what, here's what I learned and why. Here's what I tried and why you should or shouldn't do what I do or take my advice. Don't do what I do. Ask me how I know, sort of stuff, right? So, yes, we've got a dino bone, a microscope, and a used saw blade. Some of the wonders of this Wednesday. And also, well, we had a wondrous and wacky Wednesday. We learned about why somebody might have a pickle jar and a pantyhose. Yep. Oh, thank you, Soul. And yeah, I mean, a good question. I wish it had a more direct answer, but it's gonna just it's all gonna come down to your personal preference and again, what kind of a setup you can figure out, and we're all very happy for you and looking forward to seeing you play on that thing. Cutting in the shower, lava bison. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. And she says, thanks for all the love and encouragement, guys. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, Soul. We encourage you to make bad decisions. No, we don't. I mean, no, we encourage you to make smart decisions. And the only way to make a smart decision is by having all of those conversations with many different people who have done many different things and learned the hard way some of those things and not some of those things. So, and don't tempt me. I know, like Lava Bison just said too, like save time, like way to multitask. Like I've complained all this time, you guys, that I wish that there were more of me. Like I could just, have one guy on the saw, one guy on the flat lap, one guy wire wrapping, one guy running the, invoices and sales and comments on YouTube and editing. If I could just break me into like 4 different people at those 4 different stations, I could really like bust some stuff out. But yeah, it turns out I could be enjoying a, nice bubble bath while I'm doing some exploratory cutting. Like, Why not? Run that. No. Oh, I can't even. I can't even. I love the idea, but yeah, no. That's like making bacon naked. That's something that you definitely should not do. You need a packing orders moi and a moi who does all the making. A making moi and a packing moi. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, take me away, Covington, for sure. Oh, exactly. If you're not making bacon naked, you're not living. Welcome, Kyle. You guys are crazy. Oh, goodness. The Calgon. Yes, okay, I remember the Calgon. Ken Covington now, though, huh? Only I'm thinking you could really get taken away if you really did try that. Because I'm thinking Covington might be kind of the same guts as your toaster or your hair dryer, and you shouldn't do it. Welcome, hobo. Oh, goodness. And that's how you make an entrance, no kidding. Although, since you're here and you maybe have missed it and the rest of us know and you're bragging, go ahead and tell me why I have a pickle jar and a pantyhose. Oh. Ooh, when I was living in Nome, someone made mash naked shirts. Got it. Got it. And it's important that you read the whole sentence because unless you read it, someone made naked mash or mash naked. But instead, they made shirts that said that, I believe, if you read it all the way with the quotations around mash naked. Ooh, Ryan, you just wait till your oil gets all full of grime and then it's more like talc powder than oil. Right now you've got the oil pro mix. Pretty soon you'll have the talc pro mix. Oh, goodness soul. That could be the answer, Kyle, for sure. Yes, and mushing is dog sledding. Okay, so we could either read it that you're driving dogs naked or you are making the shirt that says you do. Oh, all fun and games until the grease pops. So, it's a ball cradle. My pickle jar and a pantyhose is a ball cradle. And so there's a ball swinging around in there, but he's just gently cradled. So we're making some Donga balls again, now that rock counting season is coming to a close. This is the kind of thing you could do naked if you so desired. But yeah, it's got a little flat spot I do see. That's a bummer because it's way too late to do anything about it. But that's not too bad either because when you set it down and it starts rolling, it'll actually eventually kind of find a place to settle. But yeah, we're to the polishing part. It already looks pretty shiny, but I think we can get it shinier. So we're going to let him hang back down in there. Honestly, best live so far. Yes, it is a magic trick. Yes, you just, you know. Whose grandma used to wash the pantyhose and then hang them over the shower? My grandma did that. I loved my grandma for doing silly stuff like that. Yeah, I'm more of a Duradongo naked kind of guy. Cooking anything, though. Yeah. Let me go grab a couple more Dorodongo balls because they actually really are cool. Actually, let me just take you guys over there because it'd be easier. That's how I wash my pantyhose too, Kyle, for sure. Oh, I love it. You can't, I mean, you just can't talk even about how to make Dorodongos and not get a little goofy. All right. So, ooh, we are super zoomed in. So there's the last two that I made, and they were kind of my first two, and so they're kind of, they're kind of wonky. Oh, and I did crack and drop and crack and break that one, so, you know, but I played with some color in this one and also put some glitter in it. It's funny how the glitter pops out on that and doesn't even look real. That's really weird. This one, though, turned out, bye-bye. See, even with that crack and a soft, really, like, solid spot to set that, it still rolled away. Okay. I still got my Halloween lights up, too. So what? This one is like the moon. This one has that glow-in-the-dark powder on it, and so when you charge it up with the UV, it looks like a... You have made ones that... So, that one's cool because, like I say, it looks like a little planetoid or a moon when you charge the UV up on it and it glows. But there's a few more over here, and like I say, they really are really kind of cool. Oh, balls are gonna roll and haters gonna hate. This one turned out really pretty. I think Joseph called this one Bruiser. And so it's got a, you know, from purple to a red-orange kind of blend on it. And I love the color on that one. That one's probably my favorite for color. And this is one of my favorites for texture. And if you drop it when you're making it, that's what this is it's like usually you get a bowl full of dirt and then that's honestly, that's the edge of the bowl. If you drop it, it's most likely going to hit the edge of the freaking bowl every time and do that to your ball. But the rest of this ball has got like this ostrich egg texture to it. I wish we could... Oh, ask me how I did that. I used my lips. Want to bet? Oh, I love that, Kyle. You can't polish a turd. Want to make a bet? Yeah, a bigger bowl would definitely help, Soul. And I learned the hard way, too. Don't try to do this while you're wearing a ring, because the ring will leave a little mark all over it. But that's with no color. That's just all natural. And the texture on that, too. Here was another attempt at some color, but also look how incredibly shiny this one got. Me and my significant other, Hobo, and my kid made a couple of them too. So yeah, you literally just get some dirt and you mix it. You gotta like filter it. So we put it through, excuse me, that motion was very inappropriate while holding that ball. We put it in a sifter and we sift the dirt so that it gets all the big rocks and things out of it. And then take that dirt and mix it up like a cookie dough and make a ball. And then, like I say, it's really important not to let it dry out too fast. That's why we're putting it in a jar with a pantyhose or even hanging it in a grocery sack. And I actually do like the cracked texture here. I think it turned out really kind of cool. Yeah, kind of like a no-bake cookie. So, again, there's really no right or wrong way to do it, and you kind of honestly don't always know what you're going to get until after you've really got going in it. And so we're still learning as we go. Ball's gonna roll. So again, they're aesthetically pleasing. They're nice. And then here's the ones my kid made. Again, your first go usually turns out just a little rough, but you got to try to learn. So these are some of the kids. My kid made these. I took, oh, shoot. By the way, I almost missed a couple of really cool ones. So these two down here, this is that fluorite that my kids found locally. And Caden cut and polished this. And when he was done polishing this, the dust that was left in the flat lap was purple as purple could be. And so I'm going to bring back this ball. So you see that you make a core. Sorry, I know we're zoomed in and things are hard to see. Your core is literally just dirt. And if you want to add, well, period, as you start polishing it, it makes a shell. And when you're adding all of your color and stuff, you add only really to the shell. The inside or the core, it's mostly dirt. So Joseph made these two Doradonga balls with the flat lap dust with this fluorite. So these Doradonga balls have just a slight purple hue to them. And that comes from that fluorite. Oops, kerplunk. Again, you polish and polish and polish. And it takes like 3 days, 3 days or more. It looks like a moon. It looks like a planet. If you're doing it right, if you're, got it going slow enough that you're drying it properly and all of that stuff, it takes like 3 days. I've seen some people kind of speed that up in some other ways, but but yeah, I think those are cool. And like I say, especially since the kid found this rock. He came home, he cut and polished it. And then we took that. Ooh, I need to do some dusting apparently. Never mind the dust and the dog hair. That's for free. So, like I say, pretty cool. He found that rock. He took over my YouTube channel. He cut and polished that rock. Exactly. It's an adult way to play with dirt for sure. In fact, it actually, I think in Japan, they encourage little kids to do it, but why not? I'm a kid. I'm a big kid. I can still play with dirt and mud and balls if I want to. If it makes me happy, I'm gonna do it. And if you get good at it, and you like make enough of them, you want to sell them, they actually sell for a pretty penny. And again, they should. It takes a while to make them. It takes like 3 days to make one. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of a cool thing. Really, Rufo? Interesting. Interesting. Ah, see? Now I want all your guys' flat lap dust, and if you're not going to use it for your Doradonga balls, I will. Yeah, the finer that powder or the dirt that you're rubbing onto the outside of your shell, the finer and the nicer of a polish you're going to get. Your dirt in the core can be kind of coarser. It can be a little bit, it doesn't have to be super fine, but that last step, when you start sprinkling the dirt on and letting it dry, and then you start adding color, you want it pretty fine. And so when I took the wheel off the flat lap and looked down in there and there was all this purple dust, I was like, hey Doradongo making dude, you want to use this purple dust? And he was like, that's kind of cool. I'm wondering if diluting white glue and using it for the water in your mix would help with durability. Waste not, want not. Absolutely. I love playing in dirt. Yes, yes. New project for you and your nephew to do when next time he comes over. Jeez, Opal guy. Right, Soul? That does explain a few things, doesn't it? In Giso to preserve a panel? Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, sure. I see what you're saying there, Karen. Yeah, yeah, the finer the better for some of that stuff. Adam, hi there. How are you? Good to see you. Has winter stopped you from playing in the rocks, Adam? Now you're home watching YouTube instead? Oh. Hey, if you at Kari found anything this summer that you need to run through the saw, swing on by, make an appointment, give me a call, come on over, we'll run it through the saw. I'll go post the volcanic rock on Discord, Kyle. It's still not cleaned off, but what grew mostly broke down. Interesting, Rufo, that's cool. And Karen, are you painting with your pigments? I'm curious to know. Or do you just know you can do it? I'll need a pickup. Oh, well, you know. If I had a parasail, I could fly to Boise today. I've talked about that. Hey, thanks, Les. Stay warm. Yeah, it won't stop mine either. That's why I just move it right in my living room. Sorry, it's horrible. Right on, Karen. That's cool. We had a couple nights ago, Opal guy, and usually when our wind blows here, it usually kind of quits at night, and it just got ridiculous at night, and it was like laying in bed and trying to sleep. It was a little bit maddening. Yes, yes, and welcome, Adam. We're glad to see you here. I need to be better at being on Discord too, Kyle. I'm missing out on a lot over there. But yeah, between, like you say, emails, Facebook, YouTube, Discord, anything else you've got going on in your personal life, it's kind of sometimes like, again, you almost need like another you just to sit down and do clerical work. Need an office me. Today I'll be office me. Tomorrow I'll be rock me. You know, the next day I'll be package me, right, Ma? Yeah, it's not over here, right, Jennifer? And we don't want it over here. Yeah, I agree, Ozone. And again, I mean, waste not, want not. And some of that, like, you know, just getting our creative juices full. It might not be a win every time. Oh, thank you, Joseph. And I think I owe Soul one too, by the way. Soul and Joseph. You know, you might disagree and think that this is the dumbest thing you've ever seen in your whole life, or you might think that that is the coolest way to retire a old saw blade, is to make it a microscope platform. I needed a microscope platform. I had a used saw blade. Bada boom. But again, you know, maybe you didn't know that this was a thing. Thank you, Hobo, for hanging out, and enjoy your little grandbaby. Maybe you didn't even know this was a thing, and you were like, oh, that is something I'd like to try this winter when I'm, you know, feeling a little cabin fevery. Yeah, for sure. And so, you know, getting on here and trading ideas about how to modify your saw if you need to run it inside, or should you run it inside? Should you run it outside? Should you run it water? Should you run it oil? all really great discussions to be having on our Wednesday hangout or any of the other hangouts. Yeah, and I'm glad Kyle got in here and expressed his preference on how to make bacon and all kinds of that fun stuff. I like the sintered blades personally. Personally, I like them the bestest. um, you know, you could have notched on your saw blade if you want to, on your microscope base if you want to. You know. Oh gosh. Vicky's here? I didn't see Vicky here. Is she really here? Oh, is that who got the things? Oh, thanks, Soul. Yeah, I see. I'm reading it now. I'm following now. Again, it's been kind of a wild and crazy week for me. We've had Julie doing some random lives. We've had Rufo doing some random lives. Karen doing some host lives where everyone's getting together and doing their thing all together on different little sections of the screen, and then we can tell, talk to each other, hey, let me see that. What are you working on? Oh, that's really cool. What are you doing? So, if I'm watching and I have no idea what in the heck Karen's doing there, I can ask her straight up, what you doing? And she can explain it. And that's just so cool. It's been a lot of fun to do some of those group hangouts. Again, especially because our weather's turning. We're not getting out and recreating. So it is cool to get to kind of, now that we're not out doing that, to kind of get pulled together and enjoy each other's company while we're stuck indoors. Me too, Alabama. And oh, you guys, they ordered some new shelves at work the other day, some storage shelves. And they put them together, and then we could just kind of hanging out in the back room. And I walked through later with my old boss had actually stopped in. I'm in between old boss, new boss. Now we've had the new bosses for a little while. The business sold and I have some new bosses, right? So the old boss came in and she says, when did they get the shelves and what are they for? And I said, I don't know, but I have shelf envy so bad right now. I was like, they even smell like new plastic. So Kyle's got just, and his shelf set up and everything is really super nice. So agree. I could only dream that my stuff was as well organized and awesome as that. I have shelf envy, Kyle. Lovingly jealous. Ah, that new shelf smell, exactly. I was like, oh, those are so sexy. Oh, so sissy. Yeah, thanks for swinging in, Adam. I'm glad you could stop. It's kind of a goofy hangout today. I'm on Benadryl and Flonase and all kinds of stuff that I don't usually take, so I'm a little weird today. So could mine. So could mine, Kyle. So could mine. I like the new rock smell. I do too. And you know what? At first, you kind of feel a little odd about that. You're like, I'm just going to like sneak a sniff. Maybe nobody saw me do that. And then finally, after you've like been a rock hound for a few years, you're like, wonder what this rock smells like, everybody. Earthy. It smells earthy. Maybe that's what Utah does smell like. I don't know. Smells like Utah. So yeah, sniffing rocks is acceptable. Ooh, recycled pallet shelves. I think maybe Lava Bison's been talking about doing some build projects this winter too, and I know he's a recycled pallet pro. He built a absolutely stunning kitchen table that pulls and has room for games underneath and is a like actual game table. Amazing. And I think a lot of that was out of, I think everything but the legs, maybe even the legs, was made out of recycled pallets. So Way to go, Roger. I dig your style. Awesome, Rufo. Oh, Kyle. Yeah. How do you know? There are some rocks I'm sure you shouldn't sniff and that you might instantly regret you did. Some just don't smell good, by the way. Turritilla doesn't always smell really pleasant. Neither does some dino bone. But yeah, I've seen some like really flaky micas and stuff that you would probably not want to sniff too hard, or, you know, that mica powder and stuff. Don't sniff that, right? Like, oh, well, I find you completely charming too, Alabama. Yeah, I'm sure there's some stuff out there you don't want up your nose. And definitely there's some rocks you don't want to lick. There's definitely some dangers to what we do. You know, you don't want to be breathing the fumes off your rocks, the dust off your rocks. You'll get silicosis. Fumes out of your saw, definitely not good. If you're using muriatic acid and stuff, don't do that. That'll burn your lungs and stuff. So, you know, be smart. At least one of the, at the very least, let's see, where's mine at? At the very, very least, I think these are like $3 at most hardware stores, and there's more than one of them in there. At the very least, or a bandana. I've done a bandana before too. I mean, it's not, you know, certified PPE, but it's better than a hurting lungs later. So, before we go, I had talked about making my microscope do magic when we get it all set up. And we had talked about that here some too. Never heard of it. I have a homemade cross-polarizing light unit here. And that's what we plan on rigging up to the microscope that is getting mounted onto the used saw blade today. So yeah, we've actually played with this before. I actually don't know if the battery is charged enough to turn on. It's not. So unfortunately, we can't really play with this right now, but we can talk about what it does. So I have a ring light in there, and it's covered by a polarizing film. And I have up on top another ring that has polarizing film in it. And so they used to, back in the day, call this cross nickels. So you may hear it referred to as cross nickels, but cross polarizing. Either way, as I turn this piece of polarizing film, it's lining up with or crossing with the other piece of polarizing film that's right there. And so when you get it at the right angle, you get what's called cross-polarized light. And what it does is takes all of the light that's reflecting off of that away, diminishes it. Same thing, you guys who have fished, yes, they do, Roger. If you guys have ever been fishing and you wore the polarizing glasses, because it takes the reflection off the top of the water so you can kind of see through the water better, and you can almost see the fish and the rocks and everything down on the bottom, right? Same kind of thing is happening here. Excuse me. Anytime we're taking a photograph of a rock or looking at it with our naked eye, there is actually a ton of light that's bouncing off of it, reflecting off of it from different angles and stuff. When we remove that reflective light, we can see things that sometimes we don't see with the naked eye. And especially in our meteorites, we can do some really cool magic with our meteorites and see things, the chondrules and things will kind of bounce and step up and back, forward and back and things. You can kind of tease those textures out a little bit better. Cuts down on the water glare, exactly. So the same thing, when we're looking at our rocks or photographing our rocks through cross-polarized light, it cuts down on all of that glare and gives you a little better look at things, a much different look. So that's the patent pending secret that how I'm gonna make my microscope do magic. So yeah. No, Timu, we don't do that. Yeah. And again, we've got the lava bison to thank for this. And this is really a cool little setup too. This is field ready if I need to. I can pull this off. This little black platform down here, I could put a sample on here. Put the sample up in here. Sorry, the other one's kind of in the way. Put the sample up in here and then light this whole thing up and look down inside of there. And then I'm also not getting all the outside light. And so that little platform down there is really handy. And I can change the color of it. I can have white platform or black platform. And my charge cord lives secretly tucked underneath of my platform. That's what the little tabs are for, is to help you get in there. So yeah, really neat setup that Joseph built here. I mean, it doesn't get any more low budget than this. But yeah, it actually does the trick. It does it really, really good. Here is where the polarizing paper is lined up. And so anything, you know, exactly 45 and 90 degrees or whatever after that would make cross polarized light. You can see my little mark there. So yeah, I think that's super cool little tool. And again, it just gives you a little different view of things. And it's actually really kind of fun and exciting. So I know we have more polarizing film. There's some leftover from this project. And we got to find it. We got to find it so we can play. I really don't know where it's at. So we're going to be looking for it. So is Lava Bison. He's looking over at his place. Can't remember if it landed over at his place or at my place, but so we hope to find that. And yeah, it is kind of a smart little gadget, isn't it? Yeah. So, and then again, it's all closed up too. So if I'm out in the field and I accidentally drop it or the wind takes off of there, it's not all full of dirt and weeds and stuff. It's kind of a neatly closed little thing. And it like just pops right open when you're ready to use it. So low tech is always the best, right? Well, you can't exactly just go buy one of these on the internet either. You can buy a ring light and some polarizing film, which is really all you need. But yeah, coming up with how to make that work. There's different ways to make that work too, by the way. You can set up lights with polarizing films and things and take pictures, put one over the lens of your camera and things like that. But as far as like, just, I want to be able to take this out in the field with me, maybe take it to the Gem and Mineral show with me, things like that. This is a neat little portable device. I really, really like it. And it's not bad. Even I can use this for taking pictures and things too. It sets really nice. Boop, you can just put it right over your sample and put your phone right over the top of it, get it all lined up and just go from there. So neat little thing. Like I say, Pat, when he sent the microscope to me, thank you, Pat. Oh, Professor Pat spoiled me, you guys. When he sent the microscope to me, he sent a ring light and everything, knowing full well that, you know, I've got the polarizing film here somewhere. And if I don't, it's not a big deal. I'll order some more. You should 3D print and print out a casing and end caps. Opal guy. Yeah. You know what? I bet you, well, I'm Richard Killing. I decided to make movie. Anyway, it's cool. It's cool stuff. And yeah, when we get the microscope set up, we will be talking about how to do that and what's up with that and then, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, Opal guy, do it. I just showed you how. Just rewatch this video 100 times until you've figured out all the schematics and and get busy. Get them made. Print them out. I want to see one. In the meantime, like I say, hopefully. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get to, I mean, like, because I hang out in the after hours at like I say, we do meeting, and then like always after hours on Wednesday is kind of like the Pat Brown Microscope show, the Professor Pat Microscope show. Bear, hi Bear. And like he said, you're always kind of one of the last ones there hanging out, and you seem to kind of really appreciate the microscope stuff. I do. I really do. Like, I learned so much about what's going on when he gets zoomed in with the microscope and he's got his little pointy guy, and I don't have a pointy guy, so here, and he's talking about that armored chondrule right there, and that, barred olivine down there, and that, oh, when he's getting in there, that's when I'm really doing a lot of my grade A learning, right? And so I am super stoked to get to geek out with my own microzone. So I named it already. It's not even here. I mean, it was here, and now it's getting, Frankensteined. It's getting Frankensteined onto a used saw blade. That's a true Rock Hounder's touch right there. I love it. Of course, we've got older saw. We've got, some of my equipment has names, and I was like, well, what should we name it? I think I came up with a really good name. I asked Joseph, I was like, mythical creatures, monsters with the eyes. I mean, the one-eye monster is Cyclops. We all know his name, but I'm fairly sure I've seen a monster with lots of eyes. What was his name? Yeah, but the one on Monsters Inc., I don't think anybody knows his name. Beholder, or All-Seeing, I think what they called it. Yeah. His name is Argus. Argus. Bear, do you know about Argus? He had eyes all over his body. He was all-seeing. Beholder, yes, behold. Not Octocyclops, but that's a good one. I actually, that's the name of my thing, is my Optivisor. Here's your Optivisor. Yeah. No, I think Argus. We're gonna call it Argus, the all-seeing. And yeah, so the Greek mythology story, do you know about Argus? You do, don't you, Bear? So, yeah, he was hired by whoever to protect the Empress, who was turned into a cow. And he was a really great protector because he never really slept, because he could close some of his eyes but leave some of his eyes open. So, all-seeing Argus. He had eyes everywhere. He had hundreds of eyes. So, I think Argus, that's the one, Lava Bison. So, yeah, Argus is getting set up on a used saw blade that came from older saw, actually. It's just way too cool. I love it. I know that's cheesy, but I love it. Yeah, me too, Opal Guy. Me too. Although I think he might have had some pretty perfect vision, so he didn't need an optometrist. But man, yeah, the glaucoma you'd get later in life with that. Or or that ozone. You guys are goofy. I love you guys. So, what day is it today? Said Piglet. Ah, today is my favorite day, said Pooh. Oh, Karen's she's definitely got work all over her hands, and her autocorrect is not helping her. Oh, hush up about that 4-letter or 5-letter W word there. I don't want to hear or see any of that right now. We had some last night, and it was blowing the 4-letter S word around out there. I'm getting a little blizzardy out there. So yeah, a bone, a microscope, and a used saw blade today. And then, even furthermore, a pickle jar and a pantyhose. It's what's going on out here on the prairie, you guys. We've got tubes with lights, pickle jars and pantyhose, used saw blades and microscopes. It is, I mean, it's kind of a picker's paradise out here, isn't it? Oh, yeah, you guys are great. And it's a great day, isn't it, Jennifer? It's my favorite day. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. Always, always, always going on out here on the prairie. Oh, that is a big one, Rufo. We've managed to be pretty lucky so far. We kind of missed out on most of the 4-letter S word that I dislike. And it's been pretty mild, really. A little chillier this week, so I saw in the laundry room. That's what they're calling it. Yeah, Karen. Bomb cyclones. So I think I need a bomb cyclone in my cup because I've cheersed all of it. I've cheersed all the way all of my beverage. And so I do believe it's time to go fill my cup up and probably take a Benadryl and do snap before the meteorite meeting this evening. Oh, by the way, my uncle called me very early this morning after I was up very late jamming with the guys last night. And I sat straight up like, who's calling me? And I answered it, and I always love talking with my uncle. So he was like, did you find that meteorite yet? And I was like, no, I haven't. No, and we probably really won't, but at least, so let's talk about that for just a minute too, because there were rumors all over the Montana rock counting group and Rock Counting Montana. There's a couple of different rock hound groups. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Ozone. Yeah, we don't usually play with that third guy. He was just Cole had some out-of-town company who wanted to play with friends, and actually really talented couple of guys there, so that was fun. But anyway, I was talking about shoot, somebody help me out. But this weather, right, Rufo? Lost it entirely. Karen derailed me. Meteorite, thank you, Lava Bison. I knew somebody would help me out. And Chubby Hubby's following Meteorite. Okay, so Uncle called and asked where's Meteorite. Yeah, I don't actually think that we're probably going to find it, but we're definitely not if we're not looking, right? So, but then again, these rockhound groups, everybody was on there like seriously. One person said that they swear they saw it hit Mission Mountain and it was blowing up. So are we all going rock hounding on Mission Mountain later? And these people are not joking. They're actually like, no, for real, like let's go hunt on Mission Mountain. Because I'm pretty sure I saw it land there, said some person. So I was watching all of this like really not great information all over these platforms, and I was just like, oh, I can't let it be. I can't just ignore it, and I can't let all this bad misinformation it's gonna dominate the social media unless I try to say otherwise, right? So it was driving me insane. And I don't want to get on there and fight with all the trolls and be like, it's not on Mission Mountain, it's not on, because they're not going to listen to me anyway, right? So I did make a meteorite video. It is a little bit clickbaity. I do apologize, but I did want to get some attention of some of the people who don't watch this channel on the regular and who were thinking about hiking up Mission Mountain and digging up the side of a mountain for no good reason. So we might have saved a mountain. We hopefully saved a mountain. Great big goals here on PrairieGirlRocks. We just saved Mission Mountain from total annihilation. So, I mean, all of the information that I put in my video is information you can go find, but honestly, you're going to burn out if you don't take that section by section by section and get familiar with some of the terms as you go along. So it is information you can get. It's hard information. Again, it's hard information to read and understand if you're not, taking it piece by piece and learning over time. So I did hope to kind of keep that layman's terms. And I also, again, kind of clickbaity, but very realistic. I hope everybody agrees with that. But yeah, I wanted to kind of pump the brakes just a little bit. I was like, hold on. Why would it be buried? No, it wouldn't be buried, soul, but I'm just saying the hype on some of those rock hounding groups about getting up on Mission Mountain and looking for it. There's no reason to either believe that it did or didn't land on Mission Mountain. In fact, as the reports came out, it's probably nowhere near Mission Mountain. But go look anyway, because who knows? We're maybe not going to always find these fresh falls, but maybe you'll find something older or, whatever. So, or something that already exists, or, it's just, yeah. Like I say, I don't expect that my video is actually going to produce a rock, but I do hope that it made people stop and think a little bit about are we going to go trudging on private property? Maybe we should take a second and ask the landowner if that's okay first. Public lands have rules too. So there was, like I say, an extreme amount of hype. We're going to go find this thing and we're going to find it on Mission Mountain. And I was just like, whoa, let's pump the brakes just a little bit here. I'm glad we're excited, and we should be, but there's rules. And we gotta kind of maybe slow down just a little bit before and again, are they up there digging? I don't know. I'm exaggerating for sure, soul, when I say that we're saving Mission Mountain from total annihilation. That's an extreme exaggeration, but I don't know that they weren't planning on it or thinking about it or considering it. So I just wanted everybody to get a little smarter about the realities of it. Exactly, soul. I was like, noted in game playbook that when one actually does fall, and we actually do know where it's at, and my meteorite hunting buddies fly here from out of state to go find it, to please be sure to put an SOS out on the local rock hounding group that it's way the hell over there. Wink, wink. But in the same knot of things, that's not going to help us find rocks. Even if an amateur or a rock hounder or somebody else finds it, hey, we'll take it. We're way past due. And thanks for your little cameo there, my boy. And like Lava Bisons says, it's time to start the clock over. 13 years is way too long since our last meteorite brought to science. We need to do it again. So thanks for putting me back on track there. Did you just point into Canada? No. Maybe. Oh. Anyway, yeah, so guys, thanks for putting me back on track for my rant there. That is why I made that video, and like I say, it's a little more toned to people who maybe don't watch my videos all the time, where most of the time my stuff is kind of toned towards you guys. But yeah, I had to make the video. I had to just... If somebody watches it and gets a little bit smarter and like I say, I wanted them to stop and be aware of some of the ethics of land use and things like that in Montana. So if we do find it, maybe we do so just a little bit more ethically. And then what are the rules about buying and selling? If you watch the video, if you haven't, go watch it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And if it's not your cup of tea, then skip on and watch something else. So, but anyway, still hoping that one's going to come hit my truck. I didn't know that there were 3 types before watching the video. It was educational. Well, thanks, Ryan. There's actually more than 3 types, but those are the 3 main types. There are the super rare exceptions like Martian and Lunar and things like that. But again, you're probably not going to find those when you're out hunting in the field because they're just really weird. Those are the ones that we find when they hit things and when they're witnessed. And so again, I could really, really burp about meteorite knowledge all day long, but I'll try to not choke you guys out too hard on that. So But yeah, probably we're going to learn more about meteorites this winter too, because we're going to have the microscope and we're going to maybe make it do magic. I'm so stinking excited. Oh, well, great, Opal. I'm glad. I'm glad your afternoon is just, hopefully it was slightly productive or is slightly productive. I did cause a rush on conservation licenses, for sure, Jennifer. And rockhound permits. I just made the state $50, and that was the biggest bump in conservation tags and rockhound permits they've had in several months. Oh, yes. I love that, Jennifer. Way to be awesome. All right, guys. Well, this kid's packing up to head down to the valley like a crazy maniac monster. So I'm going to go give him some hugs and love, even though he's a big kid. He's still my kid. And I'm going to enjoy his company just a few more minutes before he hits the road. Also, like I say, I'm empty. It's time to go fill the cup up and maybe take a Benadryl-induced nap this afternoon. So... Isn't all rock on Earth formally meteorites? I mean, aren't we just kind of one giant meteorite floating through? We just, like, you know, one that happens to have life on it? I don't know. All right, we're getting into some Wednesday questions that maybe we can't answer, so... I mean, we can answer, what do a bone, a microscope, and a used saw blade all have in common? And we can answer why you would have a pickle jar and a pantyhose, but... And now we're getting into Wednesday wonderings that I just don't know if I can cope with on Benadryl. So, cheers, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out today. It's been a real banger of a day. Thanks, Chubby Hubby. And I am feeling a little better than I have in prior days, man. That dentist was evil to me. My tooth, my ear, everything was just rotten. So, okay, Rufo, will do. And hope to see you guys around on some more of these spontaneous group efforts and on some other videos and lives and premieres and things like that. Excuse me. You guys know what to do. You know how to do the things. You know all about doing the things that help everybody in this rock community's videos succeed and all of us do a little bit better. Yes, I think it's outstanding news as well, Chubby Hubby. Soul. Keep your eyes on these guys in white coats. All right, you guys. Hopefully, we've put a smile on your face at least once, if not more than once today. Answered some questions that you might have had on this Wondering Wednesday, and have sent you off with a really great momentum for the rest of your week. Get out there, do those things, hit those likes, leave those comments, all of that stuff that helps do the algorithmy thing. Love you guys so much. We'll sing the song, and thanks again. So let's get the rock because it's got all the Prairie Girl Rocks colors, and we're going to look at it while we sing the song. Hang on, I got to wet it. Pretty rocks out on the prairie, pretty rocks are everywhere, pretty rocks for us to look at, pretty rocks are everywhere. There's a pink one and a green one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they all are very pretty, and they all are everywhere. Thank you guys so much for watching, and in a world where you can choose to be anything, choose to be kind of a rockhound. Peace. Love you guys. See you again soon.